Hi, I'm Dr. Aruna Chauhan, a certified career counselor, educationist, and researcher with more than a decade experience. If you have applied for Canada student visa and you may be informed to have an interview as the final stage of the application process. So, this interview it will determine whether the visa is getting approved or denied by the visa officer. So this video is all about Canada study visa interview questions, some tips to answer and sample answer. What's your full name, or can I see your passport? So don't just hand it over and don't say anything. It looks a bit awkward. Instead, be polite. The tips here are smile and use salutation. Use your full name as per your passport, and when the visa officer asks for a passport, smile and say good morning, hello, here's my passport, it's ready for you, and then just hand over your passport. Where are you from? If your home country is different from your residential country, then this question can confuse you a bit. So, the tip here is use your current address. Don't confuse with the address of your home countries. Suppose you live in Australia but you are a citizen of India. So, you can tell the visa officer about your current address. If you have the nationality of any other country and you are residing in a different country, it's all good. There's nothing to be confused. Just use your current mailing address that you have mentioned in the Canada visa application. What is the purpose of your visit to Canada? Well, the tips here are you need to be very brief and honest. Just answer in 2 or 3 sentences which clearly explain the reason behind your purpose of travel. Of course, if you are applying for study, your answer should be that you are going there for higher studies or to get professional education. So your answer should be short and clear. You should always remember that the time you have with the visa officer is really short. And the second tip is give the reason you mentioned in this Canada study permit visa application. So sometimes people say, I love Canada due to its natural beauty or tourism. You are advised not to give any answer with exception of study or achieving your dreams through the education. So you are also advised to match the information of the information that you are going to share with the information you earlier provided in your Canada study permit visa application. Have you ever been to Canada before? Well, to answer this question, the tip is reply very honestly. It's very important to answer. Sometimes you are deported or there are certain reasons you are sent back to your country. Even then, there is nothing to hide because the visa officer already has the background information about you. So, if you visited earlier, just let the visa officer know. Tell me about the reason you have visited Canada or US. So sometimes Canada and US they exchange information regarding any candidate. So it's always good to be honest. You might have visited for tourism, or you might have visited some family members, or there may be some medical grounds that you have been to US or Canada. Even if you have stayed beyond your visa validity, you have been deported or detained during your previous stay in Canada or US, you need to be very honest. You must tell them. And of course, tell them the reason to visit in past. The interviewer has the information either way. So even if you are telling truth or lie, it doesn't matter. But if you have never been to Canada before, simply tell that. And if you never have visited US too in the past, then be very crystal clear. It's always and always good to remember the year and the month when you visited last time. What's your school's name and what courses are you taking? Or what program are you taking? So, well, through this question, the visa officer just want to know if you really are interested to come and study in Canada, or coming to Canada is just a mean to come Canada. So, to answer, the most important tip is remember your school's name and address by heart. Even if you are not able to remember it by heart, the address, you can keep a slip with you, but you should definitely remember the name of your school's name. The detailed information about your school, college, or your university is always given on the offer letter issued by the educational institution where you want to study after coming to Canada. So you must know its location and the time and the name of the organization and the time in the sense the month and the year you are coming to continue your study. The second tip here is knowledge of the program. That's very important. The name of the program is essential for you to remember, because if you don't remember the name of the program, it will show that you are lacking interest in getting education from Canada, and it's just a mean this education to come to Canada. The third important tip is information should match with the offer letter and the student permit visa application. Sometimes whatever the information you provide to the visa officer, it should must match with the offer letter issued by your school, college, or university, or the information given in the study visa permit application. Sometimes it happens students apply for more than once after the rejection of study visa permit application and later change their program and university. While interview preparation, make sure that you remember the details of the offer letter that you are using in your current study visa application. That's very important. Why do you want to study in Canada? Well, this question is an opportunity for you to show the visa officer that you have researched well before applying to the study permit visa application to Canada. So, the tips here are logical and valid reason to select Canada. Well, some students in the interview see that Canada is beautiful, or I want to visit a foreign country, or my brother or sister or friend suggested me to come Canada. So it leaves a very bad impression on the visa officer. He can think that you don't really have a logical and valid reason here. So you need to tell positive things about the education system of Canada, why you want to pursue this study. Second tip here is tell qualities of Canadian education system. So you may also compare the educational system in Canada and to your country, but you should not criticize the educational system of your own country. Simply just add your interest in the type of education system that's being provided in Canada with international experience. So the sample answer here is, when I was doing my research, I found that Canada is the best country for me to continue my educational journey and to make my dreams of getting quality education into reality. Canada is a multicultural land where people from many countries and cultures are respected and embraced. The school, college, and the universities have experts from various world renowned universities and are expert in their domains. Education from Canada is highly valued in almost all the countries. And after getting education from Canada, I will have ample of opportunities in my country. Most important thing is my interest in practical knowledge. Education system in my country is a bit theoretically oriented and less attention is paid to the practical and skill based education. My teachers and my seniors who already have education from Canada or other famous universities guide me to continue higher education from Canada. Therefore, I wish to have an opportunity to continue my higher education from Canada. Why you want to study in this particular school, college, or university? Well, when visa officer asks you this question, it's a way to know if you really researched your educational organization. To answer this question, you need to consider these tips. One, research well the website of your educational organization. Um, Either you have applied in a school, college, or university, do remember to check and research the website of the campus facilities. Like you can see that it has good labs or libraries, low fee structure, campus placement, free industrial training, projects based learning, or there are different experts from the various universities, and multicultural campus is one of the things that make you interested in that organization. Second tip is how the program is different from other university offering the same. So the visa officer can ask you this question too. You need to talk about how this program offered is unique from the program offered by other universities with the same courses. So you can also talk about the industrial training is there, or the educational system has much more experts. So you may also discuss the learning outcomes of the program or the field where you want to have education. You may also share campus placement. This is the third tip. So most of the time, the universities and the colleges they provide this placement facilities. So you can share the advantages of studying at the college or the university you have chosen. Um, you need to speak about the rank of the institution too, and about its other faculty and facilities. Why you selected this program? So you must know the details of the program as the visa officer peep into your understanding or real interest in the course. Or applying study visa is just a mean for you to enter Canada. So the tips here to ponder over while preparing your answer is align your previous education and experience with the program. That's very important. So this tip is important one because you should connect your previous knowledge and whatever the vast experience you have with the program. Show the visa officer how this program is so important for you, as it's a new learning experience and a step ahead to your professional growth. So the second tip here is share this program as a new step of your professional journey. It will show the visa officer that you are very focused and you are a goal oriented person. Third, knowledge of the courses in the program. That's very important. It's related to the it should be related to the program and is equally essential for you because the visa officer may be persuaded how important this program is for you. Program demand in your country with international exposure, and you can also talk about the campus facilities related to the program. That's important. You're choosing the program may be supported by facilities provided by your educational organization related to the program. For instance, you may talk about the experts in the field as professional learners. You can also talk about the placement. You can talk about the training in multinational companies, or there are pretty good chances for research. It's a wonderful opportunity for you. And you can also share how, after the completion of this program, your future will be bright as the program is in great demand in your country. And moreover, the international exposure that you will get after studying in Canada will add value to your education and experience both. Tell me about your favorite course offered in the program you want to pursue in Canada. So, this is again your call to strengthen your chances to get study permit visa. This is your persuasion call. Through this question, the visa officer wants to check your knowledge and your interest about the program. The tips here are: research your program and courses in detail. There may be many courses in your program. You need to focus on just two or three. Show your special interest for them, why you want to pursue these courses. Second is connect your favorite course with the future perspective. That's important. It would be wonderful if you connect it with your dream to be turned into reality, or how much this area is in great demand. Do you have a family member or friends currently residing in Canada, if applicable? Well, sometimes visa officer just ask you this question to know if you have some acquaintances in Canada. So the tips here are: your answer should match the information you provided in your student study permit visa application. That's important. Even if you have some far away relatives, or you only meet every 6 or 7 years or even less than that, tell the visa officer about them. Alternatively, even if you have a friend you have only met once or twice, you will have to tell the visa officer about that person. It's better to do so rather than the visa officer finding it out later. Since that it can put you at some risk of your chances to get a visa. So be honest while giving them the answer. If you don't have any friend or relative, just say that you don't know anybody here. Then you need to tell about later on they can ask you where you are going to stay after coming to Canada. So in that case you need to tell them that you will be doing research for the residence of once you get the visa. Provide detailed information about your relative or friend in Canada, if applicable. So sometimes your relatives and friends change their addresses, they change their work address and their current location. The information you provide in your application should match with the information you share. So if current location is changed, just let the visa officer know. So the tips here are: correct information about your friend or relative. 2. Contact your friend or relative before an interview. So that's very important. Try to contact your friends and relative in advance and ask them about this information, like where they are working, where they are residing, or how long they have been in Canada. Consult your friend or relative in advance about their current location and the companies, of course, where they are working. This program and course are offered by many reputed universities in your country. So why you want to take this program in Canada? Well, this is a fair question. So it's extremely important. Here you should be very, very, very persuasive, but at the same time very logical. How this university and program is most appropriate for you. Here are a few tips you need to consider while preparing your answer. 1. Research in advance about the home country universities offering the same course. So, there are many reputed universities, maybe in your country, that are offering the same program, the same courses you have applied. So you can make a comparison in relation to fee structure, courses, or the teaching strategies or methodologies used. Second tip is comparative study. It should be logical. So when you talk about the fee structure, courses, or expenditure, don't forget to be confined to the facts, not by mira say it's less or more. You should have some data in your hand. So the sample answer here is, in my country, there are many universities offering the program, but they are quite far from my province, and going there and meeting the expenditure is just a little less than in Canada. Therefore, for quality education, students generally go to the other parts of my country. So it's better to have international exposure that is in demand in my country. Moreover, the fee structure is the same as in Canadian universities. So, for me, it's better to spend this money on a practical oriented education system that I like in Canada. Moreover, it will be a wonderful opportunity for me to have international exposure, a multicultural campus, and industrial training with experts in the university. Who is sponsoring your educational and other expenditures in Canada? So, visa officer can ask you this question, and the tips to answer this question is, first, answer clearly. This is a question they ask just to make sure where your money is coming from. You will be presenting to the interviewer a statement on your bank account and other documents. So, of course, they know who will be sponsoring your trip. It's essential. Second, show evidence of your income. However, answer simply and clearly. Show the proof of all your income and your savings. You or your parents might have some residential and commercial property. You can talk about that. And give detailed information about your sponsorer. If somebody is sponsoring you from Canada, so then present your relationship with them, their income, and their other details to prove that they are capable to cover your all financial needs during your study in Canada. If you feel the interviewer is giving you space to talk more about the issue, tell the visa officer your sponsor's occupation and other details that will uh, provide to that is with you, and you will provide the visa officer to have strong connections, and that there is a strong reason why this person is sponsoring your stay during Canada. So your answer should be very crystal clear and honest about your sponsorer. So the sample answer here is, throughout the duration of the entire program, my family will be sponsoring me with all the necessary financial aid as well as my accommodation cost. My family has always motivated and supported in any possible means to reach my goals, and I'm really blessed to have such a supporting family. Hence, with their financial support, including their savings, fixed deposits, I have paid my first year tuition fee. Further, I have paid my living expenses, GIC amount in bank. Beside this, my family also have immovable asset and savings. Here is evaluation certificate issued by a chartered accountant which lists all the movable and immovable asset in the name of my parents and myself, demonstrating the financial ability of my family to sponsor my further studies. What's your duration of your study in or your study or stay in Canada? That's important. So, when the visa officer asks you about your duration of study and stay, you need to be very real. At the same time, your answer and the offer letter details should match. The visa officer has all the information in your application in his hand, but however, he will just try to get into real talk this way. So be real and give actual time span. Whatever you share, consider the starting and the ending dates of your program that you are going to pursue in Canada. You may not want visa officer to be suspicious about you. And the most important thing is reason for a particular length. So if you plan to come to Canada before the starting of your course, then you should have a logical answer behind that. So why you are coming to that particular time, or um, uh, particular time, and when you are expected to leave. Where will you be residing in Canada? So the visa officer can ask you this thing. So the tip here is be honest and research accommodation after visa approval. You can say that it's no point to look for an accommodation before visa approval, and just to share that once study permit visa is approved, and you will find some accommodation online or book any hotel. How can you assure me that you will return to your home country or residential country? So, here, while preparing the answer of this question, you need to remember family ties, residential and commercial property, or family businesses. Assure visa officer that you have a big family in Canada. Tell them about your parents, siblings, friends. It will assure visa officer that you will return after successful completion of your program. Try to prove to the visa officer that you have strong ties in your home country, and by no means you plan to remain in Canada. Try to prove that by telling the interviewer or the visa officer about your fiance, your wife, children, parents, that you have the plans to go back. And moreover, talking about your or your parents' residential or commercial property or your family business that you are supposed to take care of after completion of the program, it will show that um, you have the intention to come back. Also, you can also tell the visa officer about some contract if you have with any of the employer, that after the completion of your study you will have ample of good opportunities in your home country. So, contract of employment is one thing you can talk about. The last and the most important trip is previous international travel history. That's very, very important. If you have ever visited to other countries, and let the visa officer know that you left country after the legal approved stay and you have no intention to stay in Canada after the completion of the program. What's your future plan? So, when visa officer asks you this question, it means it's your call to persuade him that you have the plan to go back after the completion of the program. The tip here is show interest to return home country. After completion of this program, you can say that the employment prospects are very high in this field in my country. You can also say that you have a family background, you want to take your family business after returning home. You can also talk about the bright future after completion of the program. So, the international exposure and the education that you will gain from Canada will help you to bringing your career to peak after coming back to your home country. And this master's program or this diploma program would act as a platform for your entry into a professional competitive world, and it will surely benefit you to cherish your dream by converting them to reality. Another very sensitive and important question is who has applied for your student study visa permit application. So the tip here is be honest. There's nothing wrong in telling the truth. If you have applied or you took the help of an immigration consultant, so the immigration consultants are professional. So you took their help, that's all. There's nothing to hide. There's nothing right or wrong. And but if you have applied yourself, just be honest and told that you have applied it at your own. Do you have any previous study visa permit refusal? So, yes, if you have some refusals, there's nothing wrong to hide. You need to be very true in that. Um, so, everyone has different situations. The tip here is answer as per your situation. So there can be many situations. For example, your selection of the program was not right, or it was the lack of professional representative, your financial condition was not good, or your scores in IELTS were less. So you may say that my program selection was not aligned. If the reason for rejection was the program, then you can say that selection was not aligned with my previous education and experience. Moreover, my agent suggested me this program that was not appropriate. You can also explain that this time I have done a thorough research and taken expert advice before applying for study permit visa application. So you can also talk that it's a lack of professional representation. Your representative was not an authorized immigration expert and he missed the opportunity to represent you well. So this time, your agent is a professional and an authorized both, and he has carefully prepared your study visa application. So, one reason can be your low score in IELTS. So, you may say that your scoring is improved this time, and previously your visa was refused due to your low score, and this time it's better. Sometimes the reason for your rejection is your financial situation. So, you may also talk about your financial situation. You can explain that this time you can elaborate in detail that earlier I was not given a fair representation, and this time I'm going to have clear details. I'm going to provide details about the sound financial situation. So it's not just about the financial situation. You should have some documents with you. Either the visa officer is asking or not, but you should have your bank statements, your property evaluation, and your fixed deposit details. And it's always good if you remember the things by heart. Have you changed your program this time? Why? If you had a refusal due to inappropriate program selection, then of course the visa officer is going to ask you this. So, if the reason is that, there is no harm in accepting the truth that your refusal was due to the inappropriate selection of the program. Tips here are reply honest, that previous immigration consultant advised you another program. Later, the previous visa officer gave me remark of having no connection of the selected program with my previous study and experience. The second tip is accept your wrong selection of the program. So you can say, now I realize too that I need to rethink thoroughly and to make an appropriate selection this time. More research and expert advice. You can say that this time I have researched a lot, taken the expert advice of my seniors, teachers, and supervisor before the selection of the program. That's why my program is changed. Tell me about a bit about your previous experience. So, visa officer can ask you about your experience you have gained. So, share the information that matches with your study permit visa application. That's more important. Sometimes people don't share the real experience what they have given in the application. So never ever mismatch the information. The second tip is experience should match with your previous education. So you can say that previously I have experience in that particular domain, but then you realize that you should have some professional formal education with that, and that's why I have chosen this particular program. So it's going to connect your experience with your selection of the program. Last tip is align previous experience with the selected program. So no doubt, it's not only your previous education, rather, your previous experience to match with that program. Being an adult with lots of experience, why you choose to start study again? So, this is a tricky question. The visa officer just wants to know that you have a lot of experience, you are doing good in your field. So, why you want to continue your study again? So, it's always good to be professional in the selected field. You can say, I have good background and knowledge. I have pretty vast experience in my field, but still I realized it's nothing like to have formal education in the field with international exposure to be a real professional. You can also talk about acknowledge new trends and developments, that through this particular program I want to acknowledge the new trends and developments happening across globe, so that you can be a real professional in that field. I hope these questions and these tips and sample answers will help you to crack your visa interview. Good luck. Thank you.